a lot of you guys have heard all throughout the week. There's been essentially a bloodbath everywhere. It's been pretty wild. I didn't expect to hear all of this in the same week.
Careful, you can't
So,
say bloodbath.
Same
CNN
day,
will say that
two
you're
of them.
calling violence.
well, whatever. Fuck them. We got Polygon being sold off to Valnet or something like that. Basically, the same company that owns the Gamer and Game Rant. So for whatever reason, they're buying Polygon. Maybe they're just buying a name, but they fired pretty much almost everybody. With a couple of people staying on, but it's not nowhere near as many as they had, when it was Polygon on its own. Polygon got basically shuttered for the most part, and then we got Giant Bomb, which I'm sure Smash was,
Yeah.
I don't want to. I
I
don't want to
had
say
a celebratory
the
wine that night. It was
yeah. I don't want to use the word happy, but maybe he poured an extra cup of wine that night. I'm just saying,
maybe.
So Giant Bomb, ironically named, bombed and imploded from within, and essentially what it seems like happened was the people who owned Giant Bomb wanted to take the company and the podcast in another direction. That what direction that may be, we don't know. Outside of it's seemingly more family friendly, they wanted to stop the cursing. They wanted to kind of control a little bit more of the topics towards. It seems like strictly kind of like what Geo Media tried to do with Kotaku, where they wanted to ironically focus on gaming. Right? It's like wow, what a concept, right? But the people who were doing the podcast were not exactly very happy about that, and they decided to all just abandon the fucking show essentially at this point. So there's a couple of back screen people that I believe are still at Giant Bomb, but the faces of the podcast are gone. So I forgot the other guy's name, but Jeff Grubb is one of them. Who's Reichart? Is it Reichart? Something like Reichart? Yeah, that guy's gone. Basically, everybody that was in the room with Alyssa Mercante during her Frost moment is now out of a job, ironically.
She has that effect.
Not everyone.
Almost. I said almost everyone.
Rebecca Valentine's still at IGN. Ethan Gosh is still at wherever the hell he is. But outside of that, there's been a lot of people.
Yeah, the people who were anybody who was in that show who was actually involved with Giant Bomb is now out of a job. Outside of Alyssa Mercante, who is not involved with Giant Bomb, but is still out of a job for other reasons. So it's been a pretty wild situation, and on top of that, too, there's been studio layoffs. EA fired 400 people, maybe a little bit more than that. Respawn, out of that 400, Respawn lost a little over 100 or a little under, give or take. They got 2 games being canceled. They got the rumored Titanfall game, extraction shooter, being canceled. It's fucking crazy. The layoffs are just like everywhere. And while the studio layoffs were expected, the journalist ones I did not personally expect. So I would like to start off with Smash to give his thoughts on, the news of the layoffs from journalists and especially Giant Bomb. I mean, what are we thinking? The
Giant Bomb one caught me completely off guard. Polygon, I'm not surprised about. But
I'm gonna AFK, by the way, for like 5-10 minutes. So just take over. You guys take over.
All right. I covered before Ryan joined last night, I covered a Nintendo Life article talking about like empathizing and sympathizing with the loss, and if anyone can just maybe put a good word in, throw some money at these people, and if you're a company, maybe hire them. And my approach to this whole situation is just like, no, this is not how the world works. You don't just like fail at something and because you're friends with someone else, you get another chance at it. It's like the world is a very harsh place. It's a very dog eat dog world, especially in the world of gaming. And for those that don't know about my background, I did spend about a year and a half being a recruiter in the game industry. So I've seen a lot of challenging situations specifically in the game industry with actual tangible positions of hands-on making the games. We're talking about people that are just writing stories about them. And that option has been basically minimized because of YouTube and the rise to prominence of people talking about it and giving their own spin and thoughts on it, which is what these people used to do. And they were the only voice for the industry. And now it's the dynamic of that has completely shifted to giving everyone a voice to it. Like anyone in the chat right now can just start a YouTube channel and talk about what they're thinking about. And that is was that?
Just, yes, absolutely agree with you. That's all, man.
So that is the biggest threat to their success right now. And I would argue, sure, they might think they hate me for other reasons, but deep down, the real reason why they hate me is because they see the truth and the reality, but they don't want to acknowledge it. And that is all the effort, all the time, all the years of schooling and everything they put into getting to where they are is meaningless because of this. And that's my take on it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Hypnotic's back yet, but Will, if you got something.
No, I went on a similar rant about that some time ago as like the reason why Mercante and people like her are so felted is just literally that. The fact they went by the book, so to speak. You know, you go to university, you get indoctrinated, you come out, you graduate, you get some Nepo handout, and you end up working for a website writing activist trash instead of journalism. And at a certain point, legit journalism starts to appear in the wild. People who are genuinely interested and have an earnest interest and passion for the subject matter start talking about it. And little by little, as technology becomes more available and audiences begin to gravitate in that direction, you become more and more legit, to the point. I mean, I see people trying to insult you, Smash, in particular, saying like, oh, he thinks he's a journalist. It's like, he reports the news, he breaks stories. That is literally journalism. What do you think journalism is?
I think it's
not
a
what
slew.
To be fair, for legal
It is
purposes,
now.
It is
for
a
legal
slur.
purposes, I am not a journalist. I'm an internet retard. I want to be clear about this.
yeah, right.
But
An
yeah,
internet retard who somehow, seemingly by hook or by crook, by luck or by chance, actually does perform acts of journalism from time to time.
I mean, look, man, when we have legitimate boomers like Smash JT that are genuinely, actually, somehow, shockingly more entertaining than fucking 20 and 30-year-old leftists that don't even know how to have a fucking sense of humor. Yeah, no wonder why all these companies are going under. These companies are legitimately, like, they are driven by their ideology to the point where they have no real personality. Their fucking bastion of hope is fucking Hassan Piker, all right, who just got fucking railed on a live stream. All right, that's their guy. Their god. All right, that's literally their god.
Hey!
In terms of
Ethan,
millennial.
Ethan is sponsored by Shopify. Oh wait, I am too. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the main thing. None of these people are even remotely likable, and more than ever before on internet entertainment, people, like, viewers, want to watch people who are entertaining. They want to watch people that are willing to, say the quiet parts out loud. They want to watch people fucking take shots at the industry itself. Like, this is all the stuff that they find entertaining. This is what I found entertaining. A big inspiration for me even doing YouTube was Alpha Omega Sin. He was taking shots at fucking Anita Sarkeesian, at the industry, while, discussing all the things that he loved about gaming. He was the gaming YouTuber, and he inspired me to do YouTube. And a lot of my mannerisms, like all my nonsense, all my shit talk. Like, I was like, bro, Alpha Omega Sin did it. That's what I wanted to watch. So I'm going to make the kind of content that I liked to watch back in the day.
This is what I mean, like, what is journalism at this point? What does that term?
A slew.
Well,
it's a literal slew.
Will, let me jump over you, because real quick, when I was listening or reading the Nintendo Life article talking about how we need to be empathetic to these people, I'm like, no, they need to prove to people that they have what it takes. That's what the world has turned into. And they want someone to usher them into the top position without getting there themselves. And that's not going to work. And they were talking about how, like, oh, they're being let go right before the Nintendo Switch 2. How awful, right before a massive release. I'm like, no one's stopping them from starting a YouTube channel, buying Nintendo Switch 2 and talking about it themselves. They don't need Polygon.
Exactly.
They don't need giant blobs.
Exactly.
Yeah. They really
think if they had all the advantages
you're implicitly wrong, Smash. They do need Polygon. They do need Kotaku. They can't do this on their own. They are not like us. If they could do this on their own, they wouldn't have been with Polygon. They wouldn't have been with Kotaku. These are talentless hacks that, frankly, failed to get into writing about politics. So they use games journalism as basically a stepping stone to, usher in the next breaking story on WAPO that they will never get hired to do.
Yep, absolutely. And this is
you don't need a lot of talent to do this, folks. There's a reason I'm here, okay? You can speak your mind. on topics and people. If you have enough time, write an article or two and publish on your website, and then just say it out loud for a video for your blind audience or something. It doesn't take much.
It's the jungle. The cream rises to the top. There's as many mixed metaphors as I could possibly use. If you're not good at this, you won't succeed at it. Whereas in the official fields, you know, in the part of the machine that takes all these graduates and brings them in and hands them jobs they're not suited for, and they fail upwards, that's not going to happen. But that is why the bottom is falling out of the industry, because again, whether by design or by pure luck or just the way things work out, they're being replaced. And that's not necessarily the intention that anybody had. It's not like anyone here goes, I'm going to set out to take down the journalism industry and be, you know, it's just
they did it to
by
themselves.
talking about,
Well,
yeah,
real
you say valid shit.
The Coast of 5000 in the chat says YouTube is all about charisma. If you don't have it, you're screwed.
Correct.
Even that's not true. Look at fucking Penguin Z0. Dude talks like in the most monotone voice possible, doesn't make any sort of fucking facial expressions, has a gajillion fucking subs. You don't even need to have charisma to be successful.
That's a good point. I could name probably 10 people that have zero charisma.
That is charisma, though. So. That is inherently charisma. No, like, nobody's going to Charlie harder than Charlie.
Welcome back.
You also got to understand that people like Charlie made it before YouTube became what it is today. So,
well, technically, so did these journalists.
That's actually a good point, because a lot of YouTubers that are like holdovers from the very early days, like RTU and DSP, cannot cope, cannot hang anymore. They're getting completely dusted all the time and having to beg, because what it is to be a YouTuber has changed. As things must evolve, what it means to be a journalist has changed.
That wasn't a shot at Charlie, by the way. What makes Charlie successful now is that he can articulate his points well. He's a smart guy. Like, even if I don't agree with him on a lot of the topics and whatnot, he's very good.
relatable.
He is very good at talking with it. So basically, people, at least my estimation is that people who still watch Charlie and whatnot are doing it because he is a knowledgeable individual. So even if he is not necessarily entertaining, they are still taking something away from what he is saying. So that wasn't a dig at Charlie. What I'm saying is
charisma takes different forms.
You have other
keep in mind too, he's got that dry humor, gift of the gab kind of speaking. So you know, the dry humor resonates with a lot of people, depending on if you're good at it. So, but he's successful for a reason and will continue to be. But you know, you're right. There are some people out there that have literally zero and are somehow somewhat successful, I guess.
Actually, no, that's no fucking surprise. She has, you know, tits. Makes sense.
Yeah, fairly nice ones.
I don't understand the Pokemon thing. That she looks so basic.
She's one of her like, you can have other skills besides charisma, and even then make it on YouTube. Like that's
Pokemon's whole thing. Pokemon's whole thing is that she's that girl next door kind of personality, if you will. She's like the unobtainable e-girl kind of deal.
So she attracts predators, basically.
She's the opposite of Amaranth, where Amaranth will spread people, and she'll just sit there and you know, Pokemon will perch, and people like that shit for some reason.
Yeah, some folks
I
like
think it's
GMD.
more so she seems attainable. I think the more attainable you seem as a female content creator, the more successful you are, the more money you get.
Yeah,
you know, they
but,
all.
I don't know. I'm not
a girl next
I'd say
door
from a
kind of
different.
persona.
I'm not a chick. I'm not gonna
man,
I'm not gonna sit here and helicopter on stream for people just for money. That's not my thing. Just let me try to make jokes. If I don't make you laugh, that's your fucking problem. You need to fix that.
You're the problem.
You can just be actively hostile to your audience if you want. You can do that.
I was gonna say, now that you're back, what's your take on the recent transactions in the game industry?
Transactions.
Yeah, transactions. Choice of words there. I would say, to be honest, it just flat out is not only just a sign of the times, but it's one of those things that, you know, I think I heard someone say, you know, we didn't, nobody does YouTube or talks on a YouTube channel expecting to one day potentially take over the gaming industry. You know, nobody. That was never the plan. What it is that people started to resonate with YouTubers and content creators because it was, for the most part, most occasions, not all, but most occasions, it was a lot more real and it was a lot more genuine, a lot more down to earth, not so preachy. And the problem is there was a shift between, And I had a picture on Twitter. I'm trying to remember who posted it. I don't fucking remember who posted it, but somebody posted a screenshot of this website from 2011 or 12, something like that, of Xbox conversation and a journalist, and the journalist is just fucking attacking gamers in that article from 2012. And the tweet
the original
said, like,
Gamergate beginning.
Yeah, the tweet was like, "This is how it started, and then this is how it ended," kind of a thing.
Right.
So this has been happening for a long time, and this is just a product of people thinking that they were either too big to fail, or they just got too big for their bridges. Their egos got huge. They thought that since they had the access, that they had all the power, they were never going to lose it, and as long as they kept basically shilling for the corporation and shilling for the studios, that so long as they had the access, that their relevancy was going to maintain itself. But that's not the case. What ended up happening was YouTube kind of exploded. People started realizing, like, damn, this person over here is giving this game a 9.5 out of 10, saying it's amazing, but everybody I talked to says it's shit. And then, like, this YouTuber over here is saying it's shit too. I wonder why he's saying it's shit, but all the journalists are saying it's not. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then before you know it, people are like, wait a second, like, why are we? This game is trash. Let me go search online other ways and see if anybody agrees with me. And then before you know it, they find certain YouTubers. It's just a rabbit hole that people go down. And
they started with rage bait all the time, for the fucking clicks on Twitter. And then they realized, oh no, if we don't rage bait, then we're getting no engagement at all now. Like, then that's just what it all became for years.
Yeah. And it's so funny because now they project so much as they all slowly leave the industry. They project all the time. They claim that YouTubers all use the same thumbnails and that's bad. But then they use the same exact fucking headlines every single time with with one word change in it for the most part. They say, oh, every YouTuber just copies everyone else's stories. Like, yeah, because we're all reporting on the same things that are happening within the industry and giving our own personal opinions.
Some could argue even some journalists steal stories from YouTubers, but
some journalists.
When
you
they
have
say
to
like
be a
clickbait,
journalist to do that, though.
They say clickbait, rage bait, whatever. The term for it used to be sensationalist, and it used to be applied to bad journalism in newspapers and print media. And actually, I've sent you a couple of links in the private chat that are kind of funny and illustrate this point, like what's happened to game journalism, if you want to share them.
While I was pulling that up, never forget, guys, last year, IGN gave both Dustborn and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero 7s out of 10s. Note that's different than the quality of those games.
No, and all they did was post like ads for Dustborn. Like, they kept posting like 4 or 5 tweets every single day saying Dustborn's coming out. It's the best game. It's like, oh my god.
This is hilarious. Games journalist then, new Mario game. My uncle works at Nintendo and says you could play as Bowser and you get to capture Peach and stop Mario from saving her. Journalist now, why Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is the most powerful anti-arpithid statement ever made. A 12-part series. A 12-part series. That's so fucking true.
Right.
I gotta go, guys. But
hold on, Cassie's gotta go. Cassie's gotta go. Cassie, do your outro.
Real quick, guys, just subscribe to my YouTube channels, Cult Classic Cage and Goonerfist. Goonerfist is getting really close to 500 subs, so any assistance on that is greatly appreciated. If you want to talk to me on Twitter at Mario Kart, and yeah, guys, much love to y'all. Peace out.
Peace out.
Bye, Stevie.
Bye for
Thanks
now.
for hanging out.
The last couple of Goonerfist videos
one.
were really great.
What's this one? So
the other one, yeah, it's just the evolution of games journalism from
the 90s. That game you like is awesome. The 2000s, that game you like is terrible. The 2010s, that game you like is racist. With the Kotaku logo in the background, I like it.
That is amazing. That is like art. Holy shit.
That's literally how it is.
That's totally accurate. Right?
So accurate that it actually hurts.
Yep.
So anyway, to finish off, because you asked me what I thought, ultimately, I think this is just, like I said, a sign of the times, and we are at the point now where I'll never say something cringe like we are the media, because I don't believe that, at least not for myself. Anyway, I don't view myself as that. I never have, never will. I just viewed myself as a gamer who wants to talk about video games and talk about the industry, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And it's not my fault that the journalists' websites are completely, shuttering. That's not my fault. Like they can blame YouTubers as much as they want, and trust me, they do. They go around and they say it's because of those rage baiting grifters. They're taking control of it. It's like, no, it's not. You're losing relevancy because you decided to fuck around and find out. We didn't do that. Like you are the one that lost your relevancy by not only attacking your own fucking fan base, attacking your own readers, talking to them like they're retarded, talking to them like they're inherently racist if they're white. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that you guys have decided to do because you thought that, you were morally just. You thought that you were social justice warriors, that there was nothing that you're saying that could ever be construed as wrong because you are the morally superior ones. And, that lasted for a time. It was definitely easier when it was easier money to acquire. Now that's not so much the case anymore. Money is a little bit harder to acquire now. And in order for you to stick around, you actually have to, do your job. And most of these people didn't want to do that. When Geo Media told Kotaku, we want you to talk about video games, they all fucking had a meltdown. And two of the people actually quit. One of which was the editor-in-chief, I think. She walked out. She literally walked out because she was told that they wouldn't need to focus on video games and not focus so much on, I guess.
Last I
activism,
checked, I think she was still unemployed too. Like, I think she thought she had more pull in the industry and thought she'd land somewhere else immediately. And I'm like, that's some impressive confidence.
Yeah. Well, again, the funny thing is, we all thought that Alyssa did the same exact thing too, because when she supposedly, when the whole thing about her potentially getting fired happened, she spun the narrative that she left of her own free will. She said that. Yeah. She actually put a tweet out there. I don't know if it's still there.
We all
deleted it.
Bullshit.
Yeah, she said she left of her own free will. So if we were to take her words,
until she was suing me and decided, let me actually change the narrative to fit my lawsuit.
Correct. Well, that's why I'm going based off what she actually said in the beginning.
To Gamergate 1.
It doesn't matter whether she deleted the tweet or not. We know it exists. So my thing is, so she said she left of her own free accord, and the editor-in-chief also left of her own free accord, and both of them are still unemployed right now. So it just makes you wonder, you know what I mean? That's how important activism is to these people, that they're willing to give up an editor-in-chief job because they were told to write about video games on a website that's dedicated to video games. You have Giant Bomb. You have Giant Bomb that is leaving. You have the entire fucking crew, for the most part, is leaving the job. Supposedly, I don't know. Maybe they got fired, but they wanted to change it, make it a little more family friendly, stop the cursing. Simple request, I think, from a corporation that owns the podcast that you work for. Instead of perhaps being an adult and saying, all right, well, maybe we can meet in the middle here or whatever, you're like, no, I want to fucking curse. And then you just all leave. You're just unhappy. You just leave. So again, these people, for them, their egos are so high. Their narcissism is so through the roof that if it's not about them at any given time, then that's always going to be a problem. And this is just a result of that kind of action on top of other things as well. Access media is great, but it's not going to keep you relevant. What's going to keep you relevant is if people can connect with what you're saying. And most people are not going to connect with you calling them racist. Most people are not going to connect with you calling them misogynists, bigots, or whatever. Like, most people are not going to connect with you doing that. That's just the fucking truth. So they sought their news elsewhere. They sought their information elsewhere. And now you're here, where there's probably less than 30 of you left in the entire industry as a full-time journalist. Probably even less than that, to my knowledge. So that's my 2 cents.
Juxtapose that to, I remember to this day, we're in 2025. I remember a summer of 2007 issue of Game Informer. There was advertising. It wasn't a review because the game wasn't out yet. It was because, remember, they used to also just advertise and write about games that were upcoming. Resident Evil 5. Now, I to this day never knew, never cared who wrote that article, but I remember how excited that article and that issue of Game Informer got me for Resident Evil fucking 5. Like, the person behind the article didn't fucking matter. What mattered is that I felt the love for this upcoming game coming off just this little about the game section the fact that I remember it was a summer of 2007 issue of Game Informer, it goes to show what actually that writing used to be like.
Well, now it's ironic you bring up Resident Evil 5 because, back then it was talked about with passion, and now they rather talk about how the game should not be remade because it'll be racist if it's remade. So it's just like it's a totally different situation. No, go ahead, Will.
No, you got like a primordial version of that when the game was originally released. They were saying like, "Oh, it's black zombies. You shouldn't be killing them," but it wasn't as vicious. It wasn't as out of control, like emotional. The writing, it was
Well,
like
because
there should be a
most
discussion
gamers
about this.
shut
Now
that
it's like
shit
it's
down.
racist, you know.
Like there
Sorry.
was a few outlets that tried that it's racist bullshit, and most gamers shut that shit down.
Yeah.
And Capcom shut that shit down, if I recall.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, they made Sheva darker skinned, so that
Yeah,
it
well,
wouldn't be a
and
white
that's
person
funny because I ended
killing.
quick lord dump. She was always going to be in the game. She was just going to be an NPC, and they just made her playable and gave her a larger part to quell some backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. But now, I mean, the concept of when I was like 20, I really thought I wanted to be a journalist. Like I thought, oh, I'd love to do what they do, write about video
Dodge
games
the
all day.
bullet.
That'd be great. Now I'm grateful every day. I get offended if someone accuses me of journalism.
Damn, Will, if you
You
would
a guy who accused someone else of
You
being a
accused
journalist.
somebody else.
Well, what I mean,
Minutes ago.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna say,
well, I
I
mean-
never actually wanted to be a journalist or anything like that. I just
Yeah, of
really
course,
like
yeah.
talking about video games.
when I said
No.
when I said the Smash functions like a journalist, what I meant is like because he does report things that he hears, and
we
a lot
all
of them
do
turn out to
that.
be true.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, well, so then we all
yeah.
do that, but then when someone calls it journalism, I'm like, ugh.
I think it's because while the actions are similar, the definitions are very direct. So it's when you think of a journalist, it still has that old school definition tied to it that I don't think a YouTuber can really fall into.
Yeah.
And just because you have a website doesn't mean shit. There are YouTubers. I mean, fucking Nerdrotic has a website. Is he a journalist? Like, you know what I mean? It's
No, yeah.
it's one
I
of those
suppose
things
not.
where you're allowed to have a website and not be classified as a journalist. You know what I mean?
I prefer to be called a commentator. I don't mind. that.
Commentator's
That's
probably
fine.
more accurate.
Yeah.
For sure. Gaming
Yeah.
commentator, social commentator, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely more
Pop culture
accurate.
commentator.
Like,
something that.
I don't know. I always wanted to be like for years upon years, dating back to fucking high school, wanted to be a film reviewer because I grew up watching Siskel and Ebert, and I grew up reading, film, TV Guide, and reading the reviews and shit like that. I was like, this seems like an amazing job. And then we get into we jump forward 20 years or whatever. We're making this content. We see Rotten Tomatoes being bought and paid for and shit like that. It's like, was this going on back then, or was the industry different? And we just didn't
was
know
always
because
like
we
that.
didn't have the access, that we didn't have the inside information because the internet wasn't ubiquitous yet.
It was probably like that, but it wasn't as malignant as it is now. In any case,
Yeah.
Smash, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you a journalist.
Oh
hope
no,
you forgive me.
I understand.
Now-
I will,
now he
I will
feels
forgive
bad.
you. I will forgive you.
I feel
Because
really bad.
Journalist.
he remembered how bad it felt to be called a journalist. He's like, oh fuck, I just did that to Smash. Let me
Yeah, sorry,
Hook-
dude.
Yeah.
You're not a
Hook
journalist. I didn't
makes a
mean
really
that.
good point, though. He's seen Smash play games, so Smash can't be a journalist.
That's
That's
Yeah,
true.
so I want to talk about that. So Hook says big issue, journalists don't play games. I think this was also a pretty big turning point for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Maybe more recent than anything else. I think obviously the racism, sexism, misogyny, all that shit. That's how it started. But then people started to catch on to the fact that these fucking people are hacks, and that's why like the journal mode thing became a meme, and people started realizing like, wait a second, these people that supposedly are telling us what's a good game or a bad game, they
can't
never
play the
actually
game.
play any of these games, and if they do play these games, they're
suck.
playing like the first chapter or
Yeah, there's no
the
way they could actually
They
like
play the
pull them
fucking
through all the
prologue.
way.
That's about it.
Yeah, for me, the biggest exposure was Black Myth Wukong. It was so obvious that these people didn't play the game.
Oh, when they were
because-
saying there's no women in it, it's like
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
that's chapter 4.
they were
there.
saying
Yeah.
they were saying there's no women in it, and then literally at the end of chapter 2, you
Chapter
see
2.
the sisters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You see the sisters, and then it expands upon it at the beginning of chapter 2, where you see all the sisters come together, and
And it's literally
like-
based off of Chinese mythology, and it's a
Oh,
fucking monkey.
I was
thing.
going to say,
Yeah,
like,
it's what the
not only
Yeah.
did they not play the game beyond chapter 2 and find that out, also they make it a problem that, like, let's say hypothetically there were no women in it. Who the fuck cares? Like that's not
Right.
what the review should have been about. That's not what it should like.
Right.
At no point should that even be on the table as a reviewer or as a someone to write for as a journalist or whatnot.
right.
Well, this
Exactly.
this goes far. Well, this goes way further back than that. Like than Wukong. Like this goes back to articles of like playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and people saying they're having the part with Tifa and Aerith in the fucking parking garage of Shinra, so they had to put the game on easy in order to get past it in time to get their review
God.
out. This goes back to Kelly Plague with Cyberpunk, how she said there's nothing in the game, but all she did was play the story, just the story mode. Like none of the other side stuff. This goes back to when she said 7.8 too much water. Like these people don't take these things. They don't take any of this seriously. It's just a paycheck and a platform for them to like, you know, grandstand on. They're not gamers. They're pretty much people who are they are
wannabe political pundits.
They are
probably, and that's probably why their articles are all centered on really superficial things. Like, are they females in there, or you know, is this promoting a social agenda, or not? Because they don't bother to actually play the game. They have nothing else to say. If you read some of the articles, it's all about, well, it looks pretty. Okay, anybody can see that in the trailer.
I don't know if anybody saw the.
It's wild they hate YouTubers so much because like. This might be, you know, for some of us it's our job, we do full time. For other of us, we're not yet. It's a hobby. For some people, it's, you know, part of whatever. Maybe point is, when this shit's done, when this stream is over, when we are not, you know, putting on a show and entertaining the same way that so many of them want to do, guess what we're doing for fun? Fucking playing video games, or watching movies, or watching anime, or whatever it may be.
That speaks to a greater point because in some investigation is a strong word, but just research, just top level research of many of these quote unquote pro journos got into the industry because they fell into it. Like one of their friends worked at one of the companies. They graduated college, didn't know what to do. They're like, oh, I've played video games. Sure, that's where I'll start out. And then they just get connected to it and hooked onto it. And that's how we have activists in the industry where they have no passion for what they're doing. It's just, they kind of like fell into it and they just, oh, I'm going to try my best here.
Yeah,
I think they just flat out wanted to get jobs in politics and they couldn't.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. They all want to be the next person writing for WAPO.
Yeah. There's been so many, going back to what Leon said, there's been so many days I go to work with only like 1 or 2 hours of sleep because I was playing games.
Literally, that was me fucking today. I stayed up way too late playing goddamn video games after my already like 5-hour stream or whatever it was, and it's like. And I literally didn't sleep. I stayed up all night. I pulled it all night. I'm running on zero.
And some games are so good that you just have to keep playing. Like I have difficulty putting down like my controller, you know. So I mean, but at that
special
point,
kind of adults, aren't we?
We're a special kind of retard. No,
I remember when I was younger being worried. Like when I got older, I'm like, oh my God, when I get older, I'm not going to like video games anymore like every adult. I'm like, oh, thank God I never turned into that.
To be fair, there was a period of time where I didn't. Like, there was this real dark period of video games. Like, I stopped calling myself a gamer in like 2018 through like 2020 because like minus a handful of releases, I'm like, I'm not enjoying this shit. And at the time, I thought I didn't realize it's because I wasn't doing YouTube or anything yet at the time. I didn't realize it was the industry was going down the shitter. I thought I was outgrowing video games. And then, you know, I got I don't remember what game it was that there was. I think it was Cuphead. Cuphead comes out. So maybe it was earlier in 2018. The point is, Cuphead comes out. And I fell the fuck back in love. And it got me to start getting other games. I got Shovel Knight. And it was like, oh no, I do still love games. There was just a drought.
Well, I remember when I moved out to San Diego from Massachusetts after I graduated college, and I was looking for a job and found a job as a game tester. And my parents were like, "So, did you find a job?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be a game tester at Sony." And my dad was just like,
"You're a failure."
You're like,
go work in a mine or a steelworks,
son. If you become anything in gaming, you're gonna get sued one day. Don't do it.
Right? Exactly. He saw the future.
I think people think that way about being a YouTuber until they see the paycheck. When you actually start to make some money.
A lot of parents feel that way.
But it's also not about the paycheck at all. I mean,
oh no, it can't be, because as me and Hypno were talking about a few weeks ago, it's like, how many years do you have to do YouTube to even turn any kind of profit? It's not a smart business decision.
It's not at all. But if you are any good at it, and eventually you do start to succeed, you'll get like ad revenue and things. Maybe if you're really lucky, you'll get a good audience. You might get super chats and things like that. And at that point, anyone who would have looked at you like you're a fucking imbecile for even trying will shut the fuck up. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, most people will tell you why you're doing that, why you're doing that.
Yeah.
In any
So
sort of
that's
job,
not
whether
a
it be
job,
YouTube
you know?
or being an entrepreneur or whatnot, like it takes a certain sort of person who is, they've got this risk versus reward scenario.
Yeah.
They're less risk adverse. Like I started a business when I was 21. Like fully fledged licensed business, the whole nine. And it like was it a risk? Did it pay off? Actually, more or less it did in the long run. But the point is, not everyone can do this sort of thing. Just because a lot, most people I would wager want that comfort, that security. They're afraid of like this could all go the fuck up and smoke tomorrow. And so it does take a certain type of person who's like willing to roll those dice and be like and put it all in. And journalists, I don't think have that mentality because they had Big Daddy Corpo backing them, so there was never any fear or risk involved for them. Or at least they didn't think there was.
I mean, if you're in an industry like the journalism industry operates today, you're constantly being supported, backed up, having your ego inflated, told you're wonderful, told you're amazing, told you're doing humanitarian work. Yeah, basically. Whereas if you're a YouTuber, basically everyone's telling you suck, you are never going to make it. The algorithm constantly punishes you. If you miss a single day of uploading, you're taken out of the algorithm. The YouTube wants you to give up because it doesn't want people who will quit to actually be part of the ecosystem.
Well, it's also like insurance companies, they don't want to pay. The less money YouTube spends, the better, so that they can make everything as difficult as possible. It's literally no different than insurance companies.
Yeah, so basically every single thing is stacked against you as a YouTuber. You really have to have pardon the pun, will to succeed, to persevere and actually endure, to be able to become someone that people resonate with. So it's no wonder then when they turn their fucking ire on YouTubers, we just shrug it off. It's like, you think that is the worst I've been through?
Because they only ever see the success, right? They only ever they paint it with a blanket broad brush, and they're like, yeah, well, Asmongold's a millionaire. That means all you are millionaires. It's easy. It's like
fucking bonkers, isn't it? It's like they don't know what it's like. You work your ass off on them. Like before the channel I'm running now, where I worked out a way to significantly decrease the amount of editing time to make videos and things like that so that I could cover more topics. I used to do a different channel. Everything I made was incredibly edit intensive. I could only upload like one video a month and no one ever fucking watched them and no one ever remembered that channel. And it was, I was doing it for myself, but it's called System Crash. But it was extremely
into a show.
Yeah, like everything else, Ryan claims is his idea. It was actually my idea. But anyway,
bro, Will, man, I've got a script that it's on its fourth fucking rewrite that I've been working on since February, and I can't crack it. I'm not satisfied with it. I'm not happy with it. Like, I wanted to do at least one big, heavily edited, scripted video a month, and there's just, I'm just like, I don't know what it is. I'm reading through it, and I'm working on it. It's gone through 4 rewrites in 3 months. Like, I can't figure the fuck out. That is all time when I'm not making videos, when I'm not, doing streaming, whatnot. Like,
I want to do that too. I keep thinking, man, the editor in me just badly wants something like a real cool looking project to work on. But the reality is, with everything going on in my life, as well as the channel and the quite ridiculous demand to keep up with all the stories and topics I'm trying to cover, plus daily live streams and everything like that, this is not going to happen for maybe a year or longer. So I just have to accept that and find other ways to do it. That's why I make those little meme videos that people enjoy, like the money one. That's just me scratching an itch because I love video editing. So that's about as much as I can possibly get out. That's kind of just for me, All
right, let's get last thoughts on this whole situation. Then we're gonna get into super chats. What are we thinking?
Every one of us works harder than journalists, and we're glad you fucking failed. More you need laid off.
I agree with Leon. Go fuck yourself. You're the rat.
You're muted, Smash.
Could not put it better myself.
Oh, well, now you're not.
What was that, Smash? I couldn't hear you.
Anyways, I was saying it's funny because it's true, but at the end of the day, again, these journalists has the ability, just like anyone else, to put in the hard work and get the audience, garner attention, and talk about what they love doing. Nobody is stopping them from doing that except their own ego.
And the fact that what they love
more like
doing,
their own insecurity.
Laziness.
And then there's the other problem. What they love doing is actually degrading and denigrating humanity. So it's never going to catch on.
The simple fact is that a lot of people talk the talk, but they really can't walk it, and they're scared to take the risk to do something like this, especially to do it and to make it your only thing. It's a big, like, it's a big jump to do that. It's not easy.
Terrifying.
It is terrifying.
And for these kind of people, I mean, again, nothing wrong with it. Listen, not everybody can run their own thing. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But see, the difference is that you have regular people who don't run their own thing, that work for someone else because it's more consistent and it's safer and they enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then you have the journalists who are trying to tear down the ones who are doing their own thing because they blame them for the reason why they're out of a job. Which, again, it's their fault. It's not our fault. It's not the YouTuber's fault that you're out of a job. You guys wanted to fuck around and found out on someone else's dime, and when the dime ran out, now you're out of a job. So that's nobody's fault but yourself. And quite frankly, they're just not the kind of people to get up and do something on their own. They're fucking complaining about having to get up at 10 in the goddamn morning for a panel.
God.
For a GDC panel.
That is fucking retarded. At
So-
10 a.m.?
So you
I need a river.
There was also the lack of inability to evolve with the time. Like, hey, if you love writing and you want to be a writer and that's what you want to do for a living or whatnot, great. Write the script, write your review or whatnot, then record yourself. Like Jeremy Johns is, in my opinion, probably the best film reviewer on YouTube. Guess what? If he was around in the 90s or whatnot,
awesome.
he'd been writing reviews. But know what? He understood, like, hey, times have changed. Things have changed. I'm not going to write for TV Guide. I'm going to make fucking YouTube videos. A review is a review, and he's damn good at it. You have to understand the industry is always in flux. It's always changing. There'll probably be a time when the way we do shit on YouTube is not going to work. We will have to, evolve and change with whatever the next thing is.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
the
when
thing
I
is, if
saw
you
that,
are gone.
no, Will, you go.
I was just going to say the nature of what we do keeps us fairly plugged into the changes that are happening. Like, so I think that isn't too hard for people doing what we do. It's other YouTubers who cover more general topics who have to actually pay attention to this stuff outside of their actual routine. But go on, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say that GDC panel really opened my eyes to the overall laziness of this industry. I already knew the industry was lazy. You could tell by the products. You could tell by their just like fucking shitty attitudes. You could just tell. But I mean, again, nobody cares. But I'm up super early every day. I go to bed super late every day. If I get 5 hours a day sleep, like, that's great for me.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, like, these fucking people could never do that on a consistent. I've been doing it for 3 years.
No chance. Yeah.
3 years.
I sleep in 2 bursts.
3 years straight.
night.
I've been doing this. The only time I ever missed a video was when I got banned for 3 years. Okay. I hadn't missed a single day for 3 years. And then these people want to fucking complain about how, YouTubers are so fuck you. All right. Because you guys are lazy. You're sitting up there on a cushy ass fucking 10 o'clock in the morning panel where you get to just sit down and get asked the dumbest fucking questions, give literally no answer, and complain about how tired you are like 7 times throughout the entire fucking panel. And you got people in front of you that actually think that you are the voice of expertise. They think the people that are sitting in that, I think that's the most insulting thing. The people who are sitting in that crowd that are looking at you and they're like, yeah, these 4 dumb motherfuckers on the panel. Yeah, that's the expertise that I need to listen to. Let me listen to them. And the first thing that comes out their mouth is, I'm tired. What the fuck? Why would I listen to you? Why would I listen to you?
Hold on. I need to take this. Do you know who Hypnotic is right now? He's Alec Baldwin from the Always Be Closing. He's like, I sell. And what's this? You know how much this watch costs? This is Hypnotic right now, talking to the journalist.
No, but it's true, bro.
From a golden plate.
It is true.
It is. This is how I've always been my entire life, bro. Grind it out every single day. I'm not sitting here to hear about how you're fucking tired, right? Like, so that's the last thing I want to hear. If you're tired, go fucking cry about it to your pillow. I don't care. Like, that's
professionalism, just a little bit of professionalism. But then if they had any professionalism, they wouldn't have been up all night the night before pounding edibles and drinking fucking weed soda.
It's so ironic.
If they still had jobs, they'd write an article tomorrow about how we were just sitting here having a circle jerk session. It's like, no, we're just explaining why we're better than you. Like,
and then on top of that too, these people, here's the thing, they're so narcissistic that they can never be thankful for the opportunity that's ever given to them. So for me to do something like this, I feel like is a dream come true. I think a lot of people would think that way, even though it's filled with fucking bullshit, obviously every day, it's still like, it's a dream come true. I get paid to review video games. Fantastic. I get paid to talk about the industry. Fantastic.
And
Why
play
would I ever not be thankful for that? So that's why for me, 5 hours a day sleep, fuck it. Bro, I'm up every day doing videos, playing video games, doing reviews, writing reviews on Steam. I just wrote a long ass fucking sermon on First Berserker. Like, it just is what it is, man. And I'm always very thankful. But if these people were in this position, they would end up turning up into a fucking Pokemon. If you're not doted, what are you, a broke boy? Just say so. Like, that's the kind of people that these journalists would become if they were ever given the opportunity that some people are given on YouTube or earned on YouTube. Like,
this opportunity is ours to lose, and the opportunities they've had are theirs to lose. And the fact that they are losing them is only proof that they were not worthy of them in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody in chat said, you have skipped days, but we all have at some point getting sick. No, I haven't. I've missed streams. I've missed streams. Yes. I've missed a couple of streams here and there, but I haven't missed video days ever. I've always uploaded at least one video every day.
Dude,
at least one.
I was saying earlier, this is my 100th episode. In the 100 episodes that I've been doing, we've never once, to my knowledge, missed an episode. Like, and obviously, I doubt you did in the 38 before that, before I knew you. Like, that is 100. That means in 2, I think, if I do my math right, and 4 SNAs from now, that's 2 years. Imagine the grind of never missing a fucking episode 2 years straight. Even fucking TV shows do that. They miss episodes sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got videos on my channel where I sound fucking nasally and shit because I'm doing videos like sick. You know,
you can take a photograph of every show I've been on and watch me age in real time. It's like
literally.
It also would end up looking like someone that you found in a cave was slowly conditioned for civilization because of the hair, the beard, everything, the juicing over time. Starting to look like a productive member of society.
Think about everything Hypnotic just said, and then think you just got laid off in the industry, and that's the mountain ahead of you to try to get to any kind of success on this platform. It's a little bit intimidating.
Everybody has different ways of going about it. I just I like the method that I personally do, and it works for me. So, and again, I'm not calling someone lazy if they miss a day or what. I'm just saying it's the people out there that feel entitled are the ones that I'm looking at them like, bro, get the fuck out of here, man. If you're out here complaining about other people doing more.
He did. He's out.
He's done.
Smash.
Jared JT is the more successful one.
That's it. We beat him for you, journalists.
I'm out of here. That's enough.
See, journalists can't do what YouTubers can. They can't get rid of Smash JT, but we can.
Give me the big screen. Hold on. My dog can't make his mind up on if he wants to be here or not. Who let the dogs out?
Dog JT.
See, this is what you need, Hypno.
Sings better than Rachel Zegler. Crazy.
See,
it's cuter than Rachel Zegler.
Oh yeah.
If you want people to stop with the Hypno's cat, Hypno's dog, Hypno's kids thing, you need to have kids and pets, and then
seriously. But no, so that's basically it, man. Like people, they're the ones who just they feel so entitled, man, and they're like, oh, I want what they want. They won't ever say it, or they'll try to tear down what you have, but then never work for it on their own. It's so like.
It's left wing as fuck.
It really
is. They're politically like that as well.
No,
Leftists
bro, I've seen some people that they'll never say it, but they act a certain way when they feel like it should be them. That kind of envy kind of a thing.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
you know what? It is what it is.
And as was just a final thought, as someone who has missed days because of all kinds of crazy fuckery going on in the real world, I hate myself when those days happen. Like I'm really behind right now. I'm gonna have to do my Doctor Who review right after this show, and then stream Expedition 33, which is gonna be fun, but it's a catch up. And then I've got another show after that. I'm gonna be streaming all day today just to try and catch up because my computer fucked up. I felt like shit yesterday because I couldn't make anything. I was just beating myself up. You need to have that attitude, whether you can actually do it every day or not, but you need to be seriously owning and being accountable when you can't fulfill what you want to do.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with this.
I was muted.
That's legit.
Oh, you were muted? She want to say something?
No, I was just gonna ask Will, the episode you're talking, is it the sequel to Midnight?
Oh, that was last week's. That one was sort of all right in terms of how it was made, but it was pretty. When you unpack it up further, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It was
the new one's worse. The new one's a total attack on anyone who's ever done an anti-authoritarian conspiracy theory or ever suggested that the government lies to you.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I mean, so the best episode so far has been the one that was the most inoffensive.
Yeah, the best episode of the modern run so far was last week because it just didn't have that much cringe in it. That's all.
Oh.
Insane.
It still wasn't very good.
It wasn't good. It was just inoffensive.
Yeah.